Today I'm going to give you a walkthrough of our 21-foot network RV. We are currently 4.5, 5 months into our lap of Australia. So she's not the cleanest, but she's well used. So I'll give you a walk around of what comes standard, what we've added, and what I've done to the van to prep it for a lap of Australia.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test.
Start with the drawbar. We have the extended drawbar. I'm pretty sure it is just the 1500 one, to allow for the toolbox that I put on after the build. But it's just got the standard DO35, breakaway system, jockey wheel. We have the anti-sway, 2 standard jerry can holders, Anderson plug-in safety Dave camera, the 12-pin, did I say the 2 standard gas bottles? And this is just a toolbox I got from Bunnings. I wasn't a big fan of the one that it comes with because you can't access it from the top, you can only get to it from the side, and I thought it was a bit of a waste of space. And before we actually got the van weighed, I was concerned of weights with the Navara, so I opted for a smaller toolbox. So she's a bit dirty at the moment, but generally WD-40, degreaser, quick little tools, some wood blocks, the chocks. We keep our portable solar blanket, all our hoses in here, drill for the legs, just a blower to clean stuff, the jack, and just little bits and pieces of stuff. And that's pretty much what we keep in that toolbox. You can see we have the stone stomper on here. It's unreal. It's protected the van and the chassis pretty well. And that's sort of our drawbar setup. So on the very front of the van, you'll see the window. That's an extra. Same with the spotlight on top. And then you can see our dust reduction system, which is also an extra. We've got the high-sided checker plate on here. That should have been an extra, but for some reason it was added into our build. Whether or not that's just what they started doing as standard. You can see I've put a new mud flap on here just to try and stop any of the rocks from getting underneath the van, and also to protect the stabilizer legs. A new addition is our solar input. So we run Red Vision, which we'll go through when we go inside the van. But when you have the Red Vision system, you can't just plug solar into the drawbar. It needs to be a separate solar input with our blanket. And when we talk about the roof and the solar and the battery, I'll go through everything else. But she's just taped up all the vents at the moment just because we're going down some dirt roads. We have the outdoor shower, which was an extra. Side lights, pretty sure they're standard. We do have the 16-inch rims. I did opt for a 2-inch chassis riser which is just a piece of 50 by 50 RHS. We did go the bigger bedrooms windows, so this is a double bunk, and then we opted for the optional outdoor hatch. I'll open all them up in a second, we can go through all that, but we'll just do the outside first. So I added 2 jerry cans on the rear bar. We got a dirty gear bag, which is just our bin bag. We have the optional reverse light up there. I also keep our diesel heater fuel tank here. I painted the drawbar black. That did come in gal, but it was a bit ugly. Just our standard Dometic awning. The toilet hatch. Our table. I'm going to have to go hit the golf ball in a sec. But we just opted with a standard step, which I wrapped coated. It was galvanised, but I just wrapped it coated at black so everything sort of matches. We do have the optional blue door light. The barbecue light is an extra. And then you can see this little vent. I keep our barbecue in here on the slide. And that vent just helps the barbecue, stops the barbecue from stinking, because I used to start smelling it through the bed. I'm pretty sure that's everything from the outside, really. If I do miss anything, and you do have any questions, just write it down below and I'll get back to you. But I'll open up the hatches now, so you can see what's in our tunnel boots and where we keep things. And then I'll jump underneath the van. Okay, we'll start with the driver's side again. So I've just got all my fishing rods. Some are missing because we're currently set up. So all my fishing rods are attached through there. We got my fishing bag. We've got our portable beach trolley. Just got to take the wheels off so it fits. I run the Bunnings baskets. That one's got our diving gear in it, and this is where I just keep our table. It's just the smallest one of those little tables you can get, and she just sits up in there nicely. I won't open the shower hatch. So underneath the kids' beds we keep spare chairs. This is our floor mat. It's just tucked away nicely because it's so big. This is our awning screen. I've got a hammock in there, and then that's our hot water system. So half of this space is taken up by the hot water system in the back there. This is our barbecue setup. It's just a Titan drawer slide, and I've adapted one of the King's drawer tables to fit onto that, just with a piece of 19mm angle. So that's just our barbecue side. It's just a baby queue, and I keep all our awning, anti-flap kits and rafters in there. But honestly, the awning as you see it now is how I set it up most times, just because it's only halfway out. Doesn't flap, especially if the wind picks up at night, and generally I can sleep without having to worry about the awning flapping around. I do just put a peg down in that leg. But that's virtually the outside of our van. I'll take you underneath now and show you a couple of things I've done just to help protect all the plumbing and electrical. Let's get under here. Gonna get dirty because it's all sandy, but starting from the start. you can see that skirt I put on there. It was quite a bit lower. It was probably 100 mil above the ground, but I trimmed it off for a bit of extra weight, and it was starting to flap and tear. So I did add some aluminium bracing on the cutouts just to stop the tearing. You have a rock light kit underneath here. I'll add some video of that now. You can see where our Starlink comes out. It's just a 30mm boat bung, I'm pretty sure it is. We'll just drop it out through the floor from underneath the bed, and when I take you inside and show you inside, I'll show you how we've set that up. I did have to go through underneath here, and I replaced pretty much all the screws. They were just zinc screws. I replaced them with gal. What else did I have to do? A lot of the cabling doesn't come split tubed, so you can see the split tubing I've added around all the brakes. Well, that was just exposed wires, so I had to split tube a lot of that stuff. I still do have quite a bit of exposed wiring, but it's protected by all the frame rails, and it's pretty high up. But anything that was low, I split tubed. That's our anti-sway kit. So water tank wise, we have two 100-litre tanks. This one, the one down there. The one that hangs down lower is our grey water, and I'm pretty sure it's a 150-litre grey water tank. I have added pool noodles to the drain and the inlet of the water tanks, just to protect them a little bit. We'll go a bit further. I've added little mud flaps to all my grease points and stuff like that, and all the trailing arms, just to try and stop rocks from hitting the grease nipples, and also try and stop some of the dust from getting into the bushes. But as you can see, it doesn't really work, but it is a good little bit of protection there. Go a bit further. So it has dual EFS shocks per wheel. Go a bit further. I have installed a diesel heater myself underneath the bench seat, which I'll show you that when we get inside. But it's just a cheap Chinese diesel heater, a 2 kilowatt one. I'm pretty sure I only paid like 130 bucks for it. We did have one in our camper trailer, and it was a pain. It just kept on breaking. So I was going to get a Truma gas one. I just didn't want to spend the money, so I just ran the risk on a cheap Chinese one, and this one here works pretty well so far, touch wood. You can see the rest of our rock light kit and our last two tanks. So we'll go down a little bit further. Righto, back of the van. Our water inlet. This is a 90-degree turn down, just so it doesn't stick out. And I'll just keep this cap on here, which is siliconed up, just to try and keep some of the dust and the bugs from coming and hiding in there when we're not using it. Made a little mud flap for our grey water. Also shortened it, so this handle was pretty much flush with the outside of the van here, so I've taken about 300 mil off it Mainly just to keep everything sort of inboard in case I brush up against a tree or something like that. And then I just had a little bit of this rubber left over, so I wrapped him up. Just to try and prevent any damage happening to it and having an issue. Another good tip is stabilizer leg plugs, caps, they come loose. So I just run a cable tie around it just to keep them secure so I don't lose any. And another thing which is semi-annoying, semi-not, because I have the 50mm chassis riser, so technically a 2-inch lift, these stabilizer legs aren't meant for a 2-inch lift. So unless the ground is pretty much level, I'll have to run blocks underneath the legs, which isn't a big deal, but it does just mean I have to carry blocks around. That's why those wood blocks are in the toolbox. Apart from that, oh, there is one more thing just here. The fridge vent. The fridge vent just comes open. So I've added some fly screen in there just to try and stop the bugs from getting inside. Now when we do go down a super dusty road, I actually block it off. I've got a piece of plastic that I put in there, put the plate on there and block it off, because it does get a heap of dust in there. The DRS system doesn't really get into behind the fridge, and because we have the vent on top, it is a compressor fridge. We don't particularly need it open for cooling. Now, of course I don't have a ladder, I can't get up on the roof, but I'll throw some drone footage up now and I'll run through what we have on the roof. So we have a Dometic DRS dust reduction. Now, this is the third time I filmed this. The first time the wife walked through, the second time I didn't push record on the drone. So, record. You're just about to sit through a 4-minute video of staring at the roof with me as I ramble on about what's on there. So how about this? The drone's already up. Let's do it. Let's go. Starting at the start, we have a Dometic dust reduction system. Works good, no dust in the van. We have our roof hatch over our bed. We have our UFO style TV antenna. Our standard aircon that come with the van. We didn't upgrade that. The black thing is the vent over the fridge. At the back we have the kids roof hatch, the 2 hatches for the toilet, and then you'll see our 3 solar panels. And that is the roof of our van. Now, if I've got to film this for a 4th time, I'm going to be pissed. I'll chuck up a post now of all our weights when we had it weighed. You can see some of the weights were a smidge off. I was pretty light on toe ball, but it only helped us out. So we come in fairly well on the weight. We still had 200 and something kilos left, I'm pretty sure, from memory. But yeah, 21 foot van, 3.1 ton virtually. It's not too bad. Now I'm going to go inside and clean. So as I was saying, the little bit of dust that gets in the door comes from this vent. In the door, bit of duct tape. You can sort of see where it was coming in. I'm just too lazy to wipe it off, but that's been there for probably, I don't know, 2 months. Now, we'll go inside.